Hi, guys. It's me once again with episode 2 of A Story Goes With It. And for today's episode, I'm going to be covering, in honor of the 40th anniversary of the release of Rush and the album Permanent Waves. I've got a great story to tell you today with that situation with Rush and that album and the concert tour. But first of all, let me wish all my friends and family good health, and I hope everybody is doing well, staying healthy, practicing social distancing, keeping good hygiene habits, washing your hands often, and just keeping yourselves as safe as possible. Anyway, okay. In January of 1980, the band Rush released the studio album called Permanent Waves. And in the ensuing U.S. tour, they played a show at the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium on May 21st, 1980. And once again, myself and my best friend Dan Murphy had bought tickets to this show, and we had seats in the blue section, the blue colored seats, which are kind of mid-level. If you remember the odd, it was they had floor seating, and then they had gold, upper gold, blue, and then the orange. And so we had tickets in the I believe it was the lower half of the blue section, but section 5, which was directly at the opposite end of the arena from the stage, so we were looking basically straight on. But anyway, in preparation for going to this show, Danny, a little bit of a backstory. Danny's father was a teacher at Emerson High School in Buffalo, and Danny's dad used this little portable tape recorder, handheld tape recorder, to dictate notes for his classes and whatnot. And Danny got the idea that let's take my dad's tape recorder and we'll tape the show, and we'll bootleg it, and we'll have this great memory from the show. And I said, hey, I'm all for that. So I think it was my mom dropped us off at the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium, and so Danny's got the tape recorder in his jacket, hidden someplace. So we get up to the turnstiles, and the ticket taker, even back then they did pat you down, a little bit, so people, but back then it was mostly for people who were smuggling in fireworks and or alcohol, or cameras. But anyway, the guy pats him down and he finds something, and Danny, he says, "Okay, show me what you got." Danny takes out the tape recorder, and the guy shakes his head, said, "No, you can't take it. I'm gonna have to confiscate it." And Danny's like, "No, we can't. You can't take it. Please, let me figure out something to do." The guy says, "Okay, do what you have to do, but you're not gonna take it in." So we go back out of the building, and we're standing there thinking, God, what can we do? So we walked around for a couple of minutes, and across the street from the Odd, I believe, were the offices for the what was then the Courier Express newspaper. And in the parking lot, there was this snowplow, just a blade that was turned upside down on the pavement in the parking lot. So if you look at the plow blade, it has, it's got a curvature to it, right? So it's face down, and you can see underneath the blade. There's room there. And I can't remember if it was myself or Danny, but we decided, hey, we'll take the tape recorder, we'll push it under there, out of sight where nobody can see it. And then after the show's over, we'll come back out, we'll get it, no problem. Then we can go home. So, okay, that's what we do. We put it in there. We think everything is good to go. We go into the show. It's a great concert. Opening act for Rush that year was Max Webster, another Canadian band. Max Webster had just released an album the same year. I don't know if it was before Rush had released Permanent Waves or not, but the album was called Universal Juveniles. And there was a great song on there that Max Webster did with Rush. I believe Geddy Lee and Neil Peart played on the song called Battle Scar. Got a lot of airplay on 97 Rock in the Buffalo area. Great song. I don't remember if they did that for an encore in Rush's set. They may have, but my mind's not quite clear on that. Anyway, tickets for the show, the ticket price was $9.50. So anyway, like I said, it was a great show. Rush, my first time ever seeing them, and it was great. I mean, they played everything from the start of their career all the way up till, Permanent Waves, stuff from 2112, Farewell to Kings. They played Xanadu, so it was a great, show. Okay, so the show's over and we're going back outside, and we walk across the street into the parking lot over where the Courier Express was, and we go up to the plow blade, and Danny sticks his arm under there, and he's feeling around for it, and it's like, Andy, the tape recorder's gone. I said, what? Let me check. So I get down on my hands and knees. I'm reaching under there. It's like, as far as I can stick my arm. I know he wouldn't have put it that far back. No, nowhere to be found. What must have happened was that somebody saw us put something underneath that plow blade after we had left. They must have come in and taken it. That's the only explanation I could come up with. Anyway, Danny's sweating bullets now because he doesn't have the tape recorder and it belongs to his father. His father doesn't know we took it. So while we're on the way home in my mom's car, he's trying to think of what he's going to do. And I guess apparently his father had bought the tape recorder from a place called Brand Names. Brand Names wasn't a department store per se, because their store was not very big at all, but it was products. It was products that they would have in a department store, but you could order them out of a catalog. But they did have a store just off of Walden and Union Road in Cheektowaga. So Danny, I'm sure he had the money in savings or whatever. I can't remember. The tape recorder couldn't have been more than like $25 back then. Anyway, so Danny had to get the money the next day, go to Brand Names, buy the tape recorder, and fortunately for him, they had it in stock. So he bought the tape recorder and then replaced it. I don't think his father ever figured out what had happened. I don't remember, because if he had, Danny would have been in some relatively deep trouble. Straight laced as his father was. But anyway, it was a great show, and it's just a funny story that goes along with that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And show me your comments, and like I said, everybody take care. We'll talk to you again soon with episode 3 of And the Story Goes With It.